We be a divided country on issues and viewpoints and still honor our Constitution and our Declaration of Independence. So that's our thought for the day, and we wanted to share those thoughts with you. So I'll ask Ben to come forward and lead us off.
Thank you, Gary, and thank you all for welcoming me here. Sorry. May 25th, 1787, freshly spread dirt covered the cobblestone street in front of the Pennsylvania State House, protecting the men inside from the sound of passing carriages and carts. Guards stood at the entrances to ensure the curious were kept at a distance. Robert Morris of Pennsylvania, the financier of the Revolution, opened the proceedings with the nomination, General George Washington for President of the Constitutional Convention. The vote was unanimous. With characteristic ceremonial modesty, the general expressed his embarrassment at his lack of qualifications to preside over such an august body and apologized for any errors which he might fall in the course of its deliberations. To many of those assembled, especially to the small, boyish-looking 36-year-old delegate from Virginia, James Madison, the general's mere presence boded well for the convention, for the illustrious Washington gave the gathering an air of importance and legitimacy. But his decisions to attend the Constitution Convention was an agonizing one. The father of the country had almost remained at home. Suffering from rheumatism, despondent over the loss of a brother, absorbed in the management of Mount Vernon, and doubting that the convention would accomplish very much or that the men of stature would attend, Washington delayed accepting the invitation to attend for several months, torn between the hazards of lending his reputation to a gathering perhaps doomed to failure and the chance that the public would view his attendance with a critical eye. The general finally agreed to accept and made the trip.
With General Washington guiding the process of amending the Articles of Confederation, it would soon to evolve into a challenge of creating the new Constitution. The stage was set to determine if the United States would unite or if the United States would fracture. The issues were many and difficult. Representation, proportional or equal. Slavery. If slavery, then how slaves would be counted in apportionment and taxation. The location of the nation's capital. Limits on the power of the presidency. And how do we elect these leaders? And the powers of the state. The debate was vigorous and sometimes heated. For almost 5 months, there were great differences between Americans in 1787. Americans lined up against one another. Loyalists versus revolutionaries. Aristocrats versus radicals. Monarchists versus populists. Landed gentry versus farmers and tradesmen. Active central government versus states' rights. Merchants versus planters. Slavery versus abolitionists. But the delegates from the 12 states, Rhode Island did not attend, knew if they failed in their mission, it could mean these United States would soon be no more. But against great odds, they came to agreement.
On September 17, 1787, the members met for the last time. The Venerable Benjamin Franklin had written a speech that was delivered to his colleagues, James Wilson. Appealing for unity behind the Constitution, Franklin declared, "I think it will astonish our enemies, who are waiting with confidence to hear our counsels that are confounded like those of the builders of Babel, and that our states are on the point of separation, not only to meet hereafter for the purpose of cutting one another's throats. There are several parts of this Constitution which I do not at present approve, but I am not sure I shall never approve them. I doubt, too, whether any other convention we can obtain may be able to make a better Constitution. It thereafter astonishes me, sir, to find this system approaching so near to perfection as it does, and I think it will astonish our enemies." With Mason, Gary, Randolph withstanding appeals to attach their signatures, The other delegates in the hall formally signed the Constitution. The convention adjourned at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, 225 years ago this week.
After the Constitutional Convention adjourned that day, September 17, 1787, Franklin commented on the painting of a sun behind Washington's chair at the front of the room. He said he often looked at that painting, quote, without being able to tell whether it was a rising or setting sun. But now at length, I have the happiness to know it is a rising and not a setting sun. The sun indeed did rise on the fortunes of the new United States of America. Today, as we approach the election of the next president, there are striking similarities between the gravity of the issues at the Constitutional Convention in 1787 and our own 2012 elections in November. We are a nation seemingly as divided in 2012 as we were more than 200 years ago. Voters are asking tough questions in 2012. Many are the same questions voters were asking in the election of 1800, which was our first contested presidential election that our country faced. Questions like, what is the role and size of the federal government? Is our growing national debt too much? What is the power of the federal government and that of the states? Is public education the responsibility of the federal government or of the community? Should the judicial branch be activist? Should we have open borders? Should we have a strong military? These are very tough and very potentially divisive issues. So where are we headed as a nation today? Well, here are two views from the next generation to share with you their thoughts on where we are going from here.
Thank you. As a nation, we face a myriad of challenges. The unemployment rate is 8.1%, meaning 12.5 million Americans are out of work. Our national debt is over $15 trillion, and every day in this country, we seem to be debating over social issues. But a lot of times, though, we seem to focus more on the negatives of the country rather than the positives. And I want to highlight some of those positives today. Over the past decade, we've made major strides in technology. The United States may not be a leader in manufacturing, but we are definitely a leader in software and consumer electronics. American electronics sold around the world, and America is home to many of the world's top software companies. Technologies also allowed our military to be stronger than ever with less people in harm's way. Things such as unmanned predator drones and computer security systems allow our soldiers to sleep at night while overseas. We also greatly improved on energy independence. We are moving every day towards renewable energy resources, like with electric cars and investments in solar and wind energy. America has also made great strides in science. We are still #1 in the space industry, and we continue to improve on that all the time. We are the top satellite developer in the world. Not only that, but we still are the only country to have put humans on the moon. And more recently, we are the only country to make it to Mars. Watching Curiosity rover land and seeing NASA control room burst into celebration gave me a feeling of joy that couldn't be described, but only compared to the feeling I could imagine Americans felt when we landed on the moon. I'm excited for the future. We have accomplished so much recently, and that only sets the bar higher for our next generation. This generation made great strides in technology, and our generation will continue to improve on those. This generation got robots to Mars, which will make it easier for our generation to get humans there. And this generation started us on the path to energy independence, and we will definitely finish on that path. All of this is only made possible with the style of government and economy set forth by our founding fathers. We may have gone through a recession recently, but that only means that our economy got tested, and we will come out of this recession stronger than ever, ready to take on new challenges that face us. America has a lot going for it, and as long as we continue to support and build off of our successes, we will continue to prosper and remain at the top of the world's economy. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. First, I want to thank you all for the warm welcome. My opinion here is going to be a little bit more personal. First, I want to share how excited I am to be here because I was a recipient of the Daughters of the American Revolution Award when I used to be in Marine Corps ROTC back in high school. And ever since I was introduced to this program, my point of view has been about leadership, about sharing the knowledge I have. I don't think there's much of a point for me to educate myself and not share what I've learned with those that don't know. My main focus is about the education advancement. Education is very, very important to me. Right now I feel very privileged to go to university. I was the first one to go to college in all my family, and I'm very excited to share this passion with my younger siblings. And I'm only 20 years old, but I've been about 4 years a mentor to younger students than me. Even if they're just a year younger than me, I went through so much struggles that I wish that I could have just known a little bit of information, and that would have made my path so much easier. So I've learned how to share those struggles so people younger than me don't go through those struggles. Like Ben said, I focus on the accomplishments that others have done before me. And what motivates me to keep going is people that have done great things. And I have here a few examples. Thanks to the organization that I'm part of at the University of Texas, that's called LULAC. It's a political organization, and it has taught me how no matter what the social issue is about, politics is always involved, whether we like it or not. And I have seen that great people that are younger, and especially women that have gotten into these positions, have made them be able to speak up for equal rights and equal employment and equal everything. And I have here a little bit of history about Miss Sandra O'Connor, which was the first Associate Justice to be elected in Congress. I know everybody that has been in these positions, they have not gotten here very easy. They went through struggles, and I researched and I lost count of how many schools they went to, how many awards they got. They went to more than one university, they got their degrees. All these ladies went to law school, and they not only got that, but like Miss O'Connor, she went to law school, but that doesn't stop her there. It's not just about her degree. She got class valedictorian, and things like that motivates me so much to, not because I'm in college now, is I'm there to get my degree. No, I'm there to be the best I can and to keep going. From there, we have Sonia Sotomayor, which was in 2009. She was the first Hispanic, and she focused a lot on employment discrimination. And then we have, just a year later, Ms. Elena Kayan in 2010. So this just shows how, as time goes by, women step up to the plate. It's not about physical labor anymore. It's about your education, and that's what gets you where you want to be. It's about the knowledge you have. So I think education is going to be the main focus, and I stay optimistic. I focus on the accomplishments that other people have done in the past, and I set my standards higher than that, because I know that's what's going to keep me higher. And I do expect my little sister that's 15 years old to get better grades than me when I did when I was in high school. I do expect her, and I know it's for the good of her, but I do ask her, you need to go to a better school than I did. I do expect that, and I expect a lot more from my younger sister who is 10 years old. And I just expect so much and wish so much from them, and I know that whatever I do is gonna, whether it's directly or indirectly, I know it's gonna affect her in her future, because I know my mom wished the best for me, so I wish the best for those that are younger than me. That's all. Thank you so much.
Well, you all are students of history, and you know about the election of 1800, and it was every bit, and probably more so, a divided and bitter campaign as we may be seeing unfolding before us this year. But we survived and thrived that election of 1800, and Thomas Jefferson was elected, and this country moved forward. And I think you can tell, I hope, as I do every day in my job, we've got just some wonderfully bright, energetic, smart, hardworking, caring young people that are going to be our future leaders for tomorrow. And that was really the message that we wanted to bring to you today. Is we think at the Texas Leadership Forum and the Today Foundation, what we see is America's best years are ahead. We will come out of this election stronger, more resolved, and a better America, and we appreciate you all having us here today. Thank you.